It is a pleasure for us to introduce and welcome our speaker for this occasion, Dr. Jennifer Wimbish, the former president of Cedar Valley College and now president emeritus of the Dallas College system. She was president there for some 13 years, and I had the opportunity to know her and work with her and collaborate with her on many community initiatives. Dr. Wimbish is well known and respected throughout the higher education circle, for she has and continues to be a direct influence with preparing tomorrow's leaders in the form of her transformational leadership talents and becoming college presidents and post-secondary executives and leaders in the higher education space. Dr. Wimbish has been proven to be a strong collaborator. While I was president in Dallas, she had the ability to bring college presidents together from throughout Texas to work collaboratively toward a common and collective good for those that we serve. And oftentimes this was challenging, but she was most successful in helping us to attain goals that would almost seem unattainable. She has the expanded reach of the Cedar Valley College to making it one of the most well-established institutions using cutting-edge technology in both synchronous and asynchronous learning transmissions. Further, she has touched communities with offering assistance and strategies for developing traditional housing for the homeless, and has been instrumental in addressing humanitarian needs of disenfranchised individuals and groups with achieving affordable housing. She did it in Texas. She's also done it in Michigan, where she's been intimately grounded in those communities. Dr. Wimbish is also an academician. Her work in Higher Education Academy is well respected and has opened doors for her to work with varying types of collegiate institutions, some as large as Michigan State, the University of Texas, Texas A&M, and some as small as Paul Quinn College and even Texas College. And very recently, she was chosen to be a regional network chair in the state of Texas for a project with the National Science Foundation, one of the most difficult foundations to get resources from for the higher education of our HBCUs in particular. She is an author with 2 books, one recently finished, and her writings are teachable tools for life and inherent lessons on how to maintain tranquility and peace, as well as for improving environments you are responsible for. And for those of us, you should listen to her message very closely, because you also teach her spiritual development, that she's grounded in God, and she demonstrates that prayer and belief in God leads to success in life. Let us put our hands together, ladies and gentlemen, students, for our speaker for this occasion, Dr. Jennifer Wimbish.
Thank you so much. Before I get started, I want the choir to stand. I want everybody to stand and clap. Everybody stand and clap. Thank you, thank you. Can you all hear me? Now, I'm going to tell you why I had to stand. The old preacher used to say that when my son asked me, how did I do? I'm going to say I had him standing up and clapping, and I did a good job. Let me start in this way and say it is an honor for me to be here today with the greatest smile that this very hand. Thank you. Thank you. It's an honor for me to be here today. I got one of my homies who we grew up in Port Lavaca, Texas, in a segregated school, but in a community that knew it takes a village to raise a child. Thank you. Thank you for coming. To say thank you to the faculty, to the students, to the board, to Dr. Fennell, for I know your work. I worked with Dr. Fennell and Paul Quinn. I had the good fortune to meet him and his wife and work in Texas College. And he's a great person. You got a great board. You got great faculty. Now, what y'all gonna do? So, here's what I want to do. I want to start with some information. I'm going to do 3 things. I'm going to share what I think I know. I'm going to end with the challenge. Can y'all give me 20 minutes? I'm going to do it in 20 minutes. So here we go. Here's the information. As we sit here today, did you know that before COVID, there were 27 million people uninsured before COVID? As we sit here today, did you know before COVID, the minimum wage in Texas was around $8, and it needed to be $25 for a family of four? Did you know before COVID, there were 140 million people in America who were on poverty, they were homeless, and in Dallas, we got 4,000 people homeless. Did you know before COVID, little black kids in the 4th grade wasn't reading at the level they should have been reading at before COVID? And did you know before COVID, black males, y'all were at the bottom of the educational realm. Hispanic males were next, and that's not okay with me. Before COVID. Before COVID. And so now COVID has caused us to mask up and to do some things. But in the words of Andy Young, at the 60th anniversary of the March on Washington, he said, "This is not a time for commemoration. It's a time for continuation. And I've been here before, I ain't no waste time yet. So I'll come here to tell you, I'm not tired. I'm not tired. But you know what? In order for the things that are wrong to get corrected, every single person in this room, you got to be the best you can be. Board members, faculty, vice presidents, choir members, students, old people, young people, y'all got to be great. And so I have 4 things. I might have 5 if somebody help me with my time and I can do it good. But let's look at what we have to do. Now, y'all know what the first thing is. The first thing is we have to pray. The Bible says, "Here's my people who will call my name, will put themselves in prayer and will heal the land." Young people. Here's the other thing it says in Jeremiah 29:11. I'm going to tell you. It was a million to take it and to be good. Couldn't do it right. Now, some of y'all saying, "Now, what is that old lady telling me to pray?" Let me tell you something. One of the hardest things to do in college is decide on your career. That's one of the hardest things. Some people go 2 years and they don't know what they're going to major in. But let me tell you, here's what you got to do. First, you got to get connected to God. Now, let me tell you something. Let me give y'all 5 questions to think about. The first thing is, what did God gift you to do? You know, the Bible says he gave all of us one thing to glorify his name. That's a gift. Now, some people don't know the difference between a gift and a talent. These young people singing, that's their talent. That's their talent. So you got to know, what did God gift you to do? What are your talents and your skill, and what is your purpose in life? Now, that purpose is hard. Old people, young people, that purpose is hard. So here are some questions. What are you passionate about doing? What do you do when you have nothing else that you have to do? What is that? What do you know God told you to do? What do you do that society needs you to do? And what do you do that somebody don't pay you to do? Now, let me tell you something. You know, a lot of stuff we do is just jump. There's an author called Experiencing God. He said, here's the way we do. We say, "Lord, let me be great. Lord, let me do this." And then you ask him to bless it. But to really know what he wants you to do, it requires some listening time. Some listening time, some me time, because you got to say, "Lord, what do you want me to do? Where do you want me to go?" And then go. Okay? So now we know to go from good to great. You got to chart the course. You got to know what you're supposed to do. You might be just walking around doing stuff. My husband tells me sometimes I'm doing that. You do know that you can do stuff, and it ain't what God wants you to do when you get tired. That you do know that, don't you? You do know that you can be in a career, and it ain't what God told you to do, and you can get told. So now the second thing is you got to be in school getting a good education. Let me tell you how Miss Adams used to say it in Wilkins. She would say every day we got to execute 100%. And this is the story she told. If a doctor had 100 babies to deliver, and he dropped 10, that's not good. 10 lives are messed up. When I got to Hampton, they told us the world is the competition. You know, the competition is not the people here or Harvard, yeah, it's the world. It's the world. So that means that you got to execute and be good every day. Now, here's what they say for a good education. You know, we used to say the 4 C's. Be creative, be a critical thinker, have good communication skills, be a collaborator. But now you know what they said since after COVID, y'all gotta be capable of adapting. Sometimes the class is online, sometimes the classes are in the classroom, sometimes you don't have no class. I can do a whole speech on that, but I'm not gonna go there. But then it says you got to be culturally inclined. You know, we used to say you got to speak 2 or 3 languages. Well, that's true. But you got to understand some cultures. Let me tell you what happened to my son. First job at Intel, he's doing inventory. And the people he was supervising was in China. First thing, he had to get up at midnight to call the meeting. He hadn't thought about that. And he sure didn't know how to start the meeting. So look, we have to have a rainbow coalition. And you can't talk to me about the Hispanic, and you don't know nothing about the culture. You can't talk to me about the Asians. You don't know who their heroes are. So you have to be culturally inclined. And then you got to be able to persevere. Faculty, board members, let me tell you this. We just did a listening tour with college students. And we were trying to get them to vote. And I'll say a little more about that. We said, what's the most important thing? They said, well, we get bored sometimes and we think we want to commit suicide. I was at a meeting recently with 80 Black males, and we had a great time. We had given them something to do. And at the end of the conference, the speaker said, how many of y'all 80 have thought about committing suicide? You know how many of them raised their hand? 12. 12. So then we had to do some other things. So, board, faculty, y'all better take that subject on. If you haven't done it, you better have some Black psychologists and some Hispanic, some psychologists, and some people tell them what to do. That's all I got to say about that. Now, let me go to number 3. Now, y'all know this, don't you? You know you got to know the history. Don't let nobody tell you that slavery wasn't that bad. Come on. Don't let nobody tell you that. At this point, when I say know your history, I used to say to kids, close your eyes, look up in the sky, and imagine that Dr. King and Harriet Tubman and Ella Fitzgerald never having a meeting up in heaven. What do they think? But you know what? They don't say that. I can say, let's call President Obama. Let's call Justice Jackson. Let's call the young woman who contributed to Moderna in terms of COVID. Let's call Coco. Let's call this more the president, the governor of Maryland. Yeah, let's call Chance the rapper. I know y'all know that. Y'all want to get the ring. But my grandbaby told me that I better at least say, and let's call the rapper. Let's call the little 15-year-old that at 15 was making $1 million. Say no more. You do know that. Like a Black man made $1 million doing, y'all know what he was doing? Using the blubber of whale. But now I say, let's call the little 15-year, let's call Tyler Perry. We can go on and say, no, your history. But learn other people that can help also. Now, here's what Justice Jackson said when she went to the 60th commemoration of those 4 little girls getting killed in Alabama. She said, it is true that part of our history is hard to think about, but we cannot forget it. It is true that this time is hard, but we can't sit and do nothing. To know what is possible, we must understand the past, commit ourselves to knowing something, understanding the Constitution and the rules of democracy, freedom and justice and equity. And we have to replace hate with love. Wasn't that Dr. King's message? This is what the good justice said. And so now she's up there, and we don't have nobody doing anything, trying to be good or great. We got a problem. I'm number 4. Y'all better hang with some great people. Quiet. I'm gonna help y'all go to Europe. You know that? The first thing I did when I went to Cedar Valley is I put the jazz band on the stage at the Meissen with Kirk Whalen and Wayman Disney. Now, y'all gotta be great. When I was at Hampton, I saw all the greats. Now I know, the money is different, Dr. Fidel. I'm not trying to, but let me just tell y'all, faculty. We used to have faculty who could invite people from Yale to be in their classroom free. If y'all want to know what that money is, let me know. You got to set up the faculty, and you got to call for excellence. And you need some great people. You need some great people. You need some great people. What did Coco? I better talk y'all language. What did Coco do? Did y'all see her when she won that U.S. Tennis Open? She got on her knees and prayed. She got on her knees and prayed. And you know what she said? She said, I didn't ask God to let me win. I just told him, let me be the best I can be every day. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then who was her mentor? What's the twin, not the twin, the sister Serena? She said, Serena is my mentor. I've been looking at her a long time. I better know some great people. Let me tell you what. I say this all the time. Do you know that students that have never had a mentor? I say all the time, first you got to know what you're going to do. If you don't know what you're going to do, you got to pray. Okay? Better be praying. Then find somebody that's great in that field and get to know them. They're part of your network. Now, I used to say, oh, y'all call me. I tell students all the time, if somebody come in my office and say, Dr. Wimbish, I want to look like you. Do you think I'm not going to talk to them and tell them everything I know? But now, my president told me, I'm going to advise the people who are already vice presidents who want to be president. The vice president's got to advise the people who want to be deans. The dean's got to advise the people who want to be the director, who want to go to dean. The director's got to advise somebody who wants to be a director. The faculty got to advise somebody who wants to be faculty. And the students, you better be talking to somebody. Black men, you better be talking to somebody. Let me tell you this. We got an organization in Dallas talking about doing great things. And this young man got $100 for 100 kids to learn how to invest money. And he got this little game, this faculty, this is the kind of great curriculum you gotta have. Got this little game. And he said, well, you're gonna get the money after you take the course, and whoever raises the most money, I'm gonna give y'all $50. I said, well, let's make it $100. A little 15-year-old boy, if it had been real stock, when he sold his stock, he was gonna have 1.5 million. 1.5 million. And so you gotta know some great people. You gotta hang with some great people. And then you got to mentor somebody else. And then you better have a great network. You better have a rainbow coalition. Let me tell you this story. When I wanted to be president, of a college. There was a group of us, we all gonna be president. Now, we all planning to be great. Now, hey, I learned in full of that I could be great. You heard me say that. And so we got together, and so my president that was mentoring me said, Dr. Wimbish, start getting on those social boards, those boards for psychology people. He said, I need you to get on a bank board, a museum board, or a hospital board. And I was like, oh Lord, you know I can't do that. And I already don't have some mustard seed faith. And we got together, and everybody was telling what they had to do. You got to know where you're going. You got to hang with great people. And I said that, and one lady said, well, you know, I can get you on the hospital board tomorrow. Praise the Lord. Do you know I got on the hospital board, then I got to see the valley. I was telling the story. And this I thought I would like to get on the big board. I said, but that ain't gonna happen. He said, well, did you get see the valley's budget is more than $35 million? We can get you on the bank board. You can't do that with no sorry people. You gotta have some great people. And then students, you gotta hang with the great with some good friends. Not calling no names. Did you see that basketball player? Imagine millions of dollars. He from some game. Because he's hanging with the wrong crowd. Y'all better hang with some good people. You gotta hang with some good people. You gotta hang with some fans that know something. And this is my last point. I'm in a minute, y'all. My last point. Here is the last thing. I can't do this in no 2 minutes, but I'm gonna get close. You gotta need something bigger than you and I. Did you hear me say that we got 400 homeless people in Dallas? Did you hear me say we got all of these people uninsured? And you better vote. I ain't telling you how to vote, but you better vote. Do you know that when we got ready to vote the last time in Texas, 7 million people didn't vote? There were poor people. They looked like you and I. But let me tell you something. We did a tour and we listened to college students. And they said, we have to vote. And some mothers say, wait a minute here. And we listened and we listened. And then we said, you better vote. Now, here's the other thing. We got to have a political agenda. Y'all see what those two justices are doing, right? We got to have an economic agenda. We got to know where the money is. Y'all got to be wealthy. Y'all better know where the money is. This administration has to know some grants. That's why I'm meeting with them. And then you got to have a social plan. And it's got to all work together. Reverend Barber says that look, the people that are homeless, they're not making enough money. They're working too many jobs. They don't have transportation. They don't have child care. We're not passing the right laws up there in Washington, D.C. We don't have the right people telling necessarily in the story. And you can just say, oh, work on. But let me tell you something. Everybody's got to work on something. My thing is, if everybody does one thing, we'll be okay. Let me tell you something. Y'all better know how to lead. When I was younger, Dr. Fidel, when I wrote my first book, we used to say you have to know how to lead 3 to 5 organizations. To now, you better know how to lead 1,000. Look, when we were talking about voting, and you better have a rainbow coalition. Everybody's important. Everybody is valuable. Everybody. Look, here's what we did. We said we're going to call the League of Women Voters. We're going to call LULAC. We're going to call the Asian group. We are going to call the Native American group. We're going to call the NAACP and Urban League. We're going to call the Divine Nine. Y'all know who the Divine Nine is, don't you? I'm a Delta. We're going to call the Divine Nine. Okay? We're going to call Black Lives Matter. And then we're going to pick it all up at the local level, at the state level, at the national level. Y'all know if you don't know nothing else about the Divine Nine, ain't nobody going to do nothing I say if I only got the approval of my president. So you got to know how you don't know how to lead 1,000, and you haven't done nothing yet. work every day with somebody who's in high school and they want me to read that essay. Y'all do know that every essay has tell us something you read and what you did. And they haven't done that one thing. But in order for us to go to the next place, young people, y'all gotta do something. I know you got internships and that kind of thing, but you gotta have something bigger than you that you working with. And anybody that want to work on housing, y'all tell me. I'm working on housing right now. I'm working on equity right now. Dr. Chanel told you I got selected. Listen to this, and then I'm not listen to this. President Biden gave us 346 million. Go to community colleges to work with our college. They're afraid we can't get the money away. We have 1,200 community colleges in America, and only 2 typically apply for this grant. So my job is to get y'all some money. Come on now. In Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Texas, and Oklahoma. Let me tell you how it works, because I know how to work. I got hired in January. Everybody else been working a year. 1/3 of the people that has applied for different things are from Texas, Oklahoma, because I know how to work. And so let me tell you something, because I didn't even talk to y'all about technology. That's a conversation for another day. But here's one thing I will tell you. I get so tired of calling somebody to do some work and they don't get the phones answered. Because they got, what is it, AI, and the phones don't get answered. I get tired of calling black lawyers. I thought when we got here, and their phone don't get answered. I get tired of calling some Hispanic folks. And so the challenge is to come together, did you hear me say, to form a coalition and do a work. Now, in terms of, y'all do have to know technology. You know what Rev. Barber had? He has technology, one technology, Action Network. It will keep up with everybody that ever touches it. It will send out the agenda for the meeting. It will tell us who's working in Texas. It will tell us who voted and who didn't vote. It will tell us how to do a petition and let all of y'all sign the petition. And I could go on and on. So you know we gotta have some technology skills. Now, to go from good to great, you gotta know God and connect to His purpose. You have to be excellent in all you do and get a good education. You have to know your history. You have to hang with great people. You have to be great. You have to lead something. And so here's the challenge. How many of you all are going to lead with me? How many of you all are going to take one thing that I said and integrate it into your soul and do it? How many of you are going to hang with some great people and so you can be great? How many of you going to get you a mentor? How many of you are going to be a model for somebody else? How many of you are going to go from good to great because you are excellent? So here is the ending. One of our great leaders said, never has there been a need for a generation of people to know something great and to do something great. And so as I go to a close, I'm going to close this way. Now to him who is able to do everything that we can into our religion, according to his power that is in one within me. Let's get it.
Let's give her a chance to witness. Another round of applause. Let's give her another applause. Yeah. We'll be closing in a short while, but let me just show you this ballot. If you didn't get anything up to this point in your school year, you need to take some notes and get what you just shared. The presidents that she pulled together and the city of Dallas didn't just come from Dallas. It came throughout the state of Texas to hear the voice of Dr. Wimbish. And we were able to get significant money. I think it was about 3 weeks, maybe a month ago now, she called me up and said she had 300 some odd million dollars, and she had some challenges in sharing those dollars with some of the community colleges. She just shared it. I have an individual right now working on a STEM grant on behalf of this institution. Well, no. Let me just share this with you. Her concern is not about herself, but about seeing the future of our communities grow. You are our future. These faculty are our futures. Many of us are at retirement age or soon be retiring, but we want to leave a situation better than we found it. For that reason, I want to say, if you will please join me. Thank you, Dr. Wimbish, for all that you've done for me as a professional, as well as for our city and now for our students. And as a show of our appreciation, we want to give you this plaque of appreciation that says the administration, faculty, and staff, the students acknowledge with appreciation and gratitude your support of Texas College during the fall school convocation. Your indefatigable spirit is received with gratitude. We also appreciate your enduring commitment to higher education, your humanitarian spirit, and your embrace of community. We are encouraged by your wisdom and love for God as you demonstrate in your writings. You are appreciated for such a time as this. Thank you for being with us.